What's going on, guys? Sixth episode of Unmapped. We're getting close to these double digits, baby. Um, this episode, I'm talking to a future doctor, Mr. Dr. Bear. He's 21. He's a senior in college, bio major, and he's a genius. I mean, the man's already been accepted to med school. He got accepted his second semester junior year. And anecdotally speaking, from those who are on the pre-med track or people who I know who have wanted to go to medical school, that's difficult. I mean, all the classes, working to get those good grades and then taking the MCAT and doing well on it. I mean, it's a stressful, anxiety-ridden path. But this man, he did it. He did it early on. He killed it. As of right now, he's holding a 3.8 GPA. He's all brains. He comes from a family background of athletics, but he knew how smart he was. And in this podcast, we talked to him. Well, I talked to him about his love for science, why he wanted to be a doctor, why he wants to be a doctor, and what he plans on doing once he gets there, and his future endeavors and all of that nice stuff. Other than that, we also go into his entire history with all the pets that he's had. Yeah, there was a bunch of rants that happened, but interesting stuff. And if you ever need someone to pet sit for you, it's not this guy. Just letting you know. So with that, here we go. I always wanted an aquarium, like a legitimate aquarium.
I had a little aquarium. The thing was, myself and my family went to Chinatown.
Mm-hmm. In Manhattan?
Yeah, about like 4th or 5th grade. And they were selling like black market as fuck turtles. Just little baby ass turtles. You know those things that like 2 to 3 people ruin for everybody?
Yeah.
Baby turtles.
Okay.
Babies eat baby turtles occasionally. Asphyxiate or suffocate or whatever because no one's washing them.
Is that really a common problem?
Yeah, they're small enough for you to eat, therefore illegal,
Huh,
Why not? I mean, also, probably, if you look it up, there's got to be good reasons. It's probably a disease or something associated with it. But anyways, we got
turtles?
we got these.
Wait, eating turtles or just having turtles?
Just having them.
Well, I mean, they always stink. I know that every house that I've been to that has a turtle, it always smells like booty.
That wasn't my problem, though, because I can't smell shit. So, that's nice.
True. Wait, so,
we got some, myself and my little brother, Reggie, who's 3 years younger, so, what, like fucking 2nd grade or some shit?
Mm-hmm.
We got these 2 red-eared sliders through a fierce negotiation process that consisted of, like, my mom asking what the price was, them saying something ridiculous, us walking away, and then them shouting something lower at us, and then us coming back, and then them shouting something marginally higher. But we bought the 2 turtles in the tank, or the like a little case, but they were like the size of fucking silver dollars when we got them.
It's crazy that well, it's not crazy, but like it sucks that in other countries like it's always a bartering system. Because every time I've been to Bangladesh, it's like I'll go with my mom to all the shopping centers, and every single time we're there, the guy will be like 1,000, and my mom will be like, I'll give you 200, and he's like, what the hell, no? And then my mom will walk away and like, wait, come back, 500. And it's like, you just went from 1,000 to 500 in literally 20 seconds. Like, what is the price of this? But in most countries that aren't, like, first world, I'd say, there's always a bartering system. I feel like that makes it so much more inefficient. It makes all businesses almost just have no kind of business scheme. Like, there's no template to how they run their business.
Yeah, and sometimes I've heard, like, stories of, like, foreigners will come over, and because it's a different culture, they don't realize that, like, the price that's listed on shit is final. Like, they go into a Walmart and it'd be like something's $3.69 and they're offering less than that, but it just doesn't, really work like that here.
Goes into Walmart. So, I want this for $1. No, like, sir, you can't
yelling at the cashier isn't going to get you a better price. Unfortunately. If that was a loophole, people would have figured it out by now. People would be really good at yelling, yeah.
No, I wanted to ask you, so you said you couldn't smell the turtles, right? Let's go back a little bit.
Oh, wait, do you want to go back to the turtles?
Yeah.
Alright.
Wait. Let me ask this before I forget.
Okay.
You can't smell, and I know that, and everyone, like, all of, like, our friends, we know that. But I never asked, like, when did you originally figure out that you couldn't smell? Or was it, like, Was it always that you couldn't smell, or that is it like a point in time where you realized that you?
It was sort of a gradual realization because I can't smell almost everything, but I can smell some shit. Mm-hmm. So it was just really, really toned down. I think at one point I used to be able to like smell shit fine, and then I strongly believe that because I was like concussed in 6th grade or so, that might have been when it happened. Something got knocked loose. Like I got CAT scans for it, not because of concussion, but just years later trying to figure out why the fuck my nose is fucked.
How bad was the concussion?
And undiagnosed, might not have been a concussion.
Oh, okay.
However, what I've been told is, if you strike your head and black out, that's a concussion, right?
Yeah.
Alright, well, I struck my head and blacked out. Some kid I was on a breakaway in soccer.
Lacrosse? Oh, soccer. You played soccer?
No, it was just indoor gym.
Oh,
like fucking PE, 6th period bullshit. Mm-hmm. And some douche canoe tripped me. John Parsons, real piece of shit. I know we're not supposed to use names, but fuck that kid.
As long as they're vague. Not like specifically.
Yeah, he just blatantly tripped me. I don't know if anyone saw it because, again, I fell really hard. Mm-hmm. I fortunately broke the fall with my face. And then I guess I blacked out because, like, you know that scene in sports movies and shit when you're like looking up?
Yeah, it's like dazed.
Like faces looking down at you.
Yeah.
Coach just like, hey, you alright?
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, sure. Got up. But, like, I realistically have no idea how long I was out. I would guess a couple seconds because I feel like if I was there for
more than
30 seconds or more, they'd, like, be picking me up or some shit.
Yeah.
But ever since then, I don't know. Everything's been, like, toned down a little bit. Like, if I opened a bag of coffee the other day and stuck that shit right under my nose. I'm like, it smells like coffee. It smells delicious. Mm-hmm. Like, I don't...
Was it very potent?
Fully know the smell, or, like, the extent of what I'm missing out on. But, like, that was nice.
Yeah, like the wine that you guys had tonight.
I can't smell that shit.
Smelling that wine, like, it was very noticeable how strong that wine was. You could tell it was a very high-quality wine.
We got a wine, and then... Like, he corked it for us. Like, took the cork. Mm-hmm. And then later, so we got the wine specifically because it was a cool bottle. Because we're idiots.
Okay, of course.
Like, just straw wrapped around the bottle. Looks rustic as fuck. Some Italian bullshit, right? And so they took the cork, but then later, like, at the end of the dinner, we're like, hey, we can have the bottle, right? And the guy was like, I guess. Or I wasn't going to reuse it, so sure. And
do you think he ever got that?
And then he was like, do you want the cork with that?
Do you think he ever got asked that before?
I don't think so. But again, I ordered an entire like family-sized barbecue chicken pizza for myself. And he freaked out a little bit at that too. But that seems to be par for the course. I guess I just have to go there more or do that less. Every time I ask, they're like, slice of pizza? No.
An entire pie.
But anyways, they asked if we wanted a cork, like back in it. And we were like, sure, why the fuck not? Give us a used cork for our empty bottle. And they brought us a cork, and like we couldn't fit it in there. But that's just fucking.
That's what she said.
Yeah, the cork was too girthy. But I was like, wait, do you think that's from like a different wine? And Jordan could like. The thing that amazed me, she could just smell the cork and tell, like, this is one wine, and then smell the bottle and be like, this is an entirely different wine. She was like, this one's, like, a little bit chocolatey, and this one's more, like, berry or some shit. Yeah. And I was like, I smell nothing on the cork, and if I put the, like, recently emptied wine bottle directly under my nose and inhale deeply, I can faintly smell grapes. Mm-hmm. Like, there's definitely grapes.
Yeah, I mean, it's a pretty strong smell, so, I mean, I assume you get at least a little bit out of it. Do you know the reason why wine prices are so like high, or there's an entire like kind of like an economic background to like just like the wine economy, I guess I could put it. There's a documentary on Netflix, and there's this one guy, I forgot his name. This is Asian dude. He was going around buying all the like high quality, high tier wines. And he was kind of buying so much of it. I think I talked to you about this before, but he was buying so much of it that it was he was kind of in ownership of the main supply, and he inflated the price of wine like extensively.
So he had a monopoly.
Yeah, he had a monopoly on wine, and then once all the prices were starting to get jacked up, he started selling them. He started auctioning them off, and then getting like massive amounts of income from that. And that's why wine has this entire like following of like wine, being a wine connoisseur, tasting and all that stuff. I'm pretty sure he's the reason why it has such a big following behind it.
So a smaller scale version of what De Beers did to the diamond market.
Yeah, basically.
Interesting. Wine.
Yeah, so going back to the turtles.
The turtles, right? Okay. I, unfortunately, through a series of circumstances largely beyond my control, have an aggressively tragic series of pet backstories.
Okay.
But these turtles, when we got them, size of silver dollars, right?
Mm-hmm.
Held on to them for a very long time. Mine was named Einstein. Reggie's was named Speedy Gonzalez. Despite me not being the one that couldn't fucking smell, Reggie never really cleaned the tank, so that was pretty much entirely on me.
Wow.
And so for like the next 5 or 6 years, probably 4 years, we just held on to them, and they grew to like maybe about the size of a fist or so.
Mm-hmm.
And eventually, I just started cleaning it slightly less often. And one day my dad just had it, and he was like, all right, we are going to take this turtle tank and put it outside. It smells like taint feces. So,
Ew.
So we put the turtle tank outside. Was
turtle still in though?
Well, yeah.
Okay.
The first night that they were outside, my dad woke up to the sound of raccoons eating turtles.
Oh, no.
So he went down there and chased them off. And the aftermath was essentially my turtle lost his tail and all 4 of his limbs.
That's so bad.
But lived for another day and a half, and then I assume died of blood loss. And Reggie's turtle, Speedy Gonzalez, he had his front right flipper bitten off. I say his, but I never got them properly sexed. I don't know shit about dick when it comes to turtles.
How can you tell the turtle's gender? Because they have to have genitalia. I've never really picked up a turtle.
I believe you make them watch turtle porn, and then,
and then the birds
if they get aroused, they're either,
on top or bottom.
I've seen turtles giving lesbian,
I've seen turtles giving it. They're just on top of each other.
That fucking one video. I don't even want to make the noises. Edit this out. Anyways, so turtles. Yeah, turtles. So we had a now haunted tank with the soul of one turtle, and like another 3/4 of a turtle living in there. And we were like, what do we do? So we actually had a middle school. Well, the middle school we went to, the office in it had a huge turtle tank with another red-eared slider that was the size of a fucking dinner plate. His name was, I want to say either Tank the Turtle or Dirtle the Turtle.
Turtle the Turtle. That's a great name.
I think Tank the Turtle was my science turtle.
Man, you got mad
Dirtle the Turtle was the one that... I mean, this was just like one that happened to be in a science class and some way back. I distinctly remember at 2 different times knowing a turtle named Dirtle and knowing a turtle named Tank. So I contacted Mrs. Sorrento, who was the secretary. Her and me were boys because my mom never picked me up on time, and I always ended up staying late after activity period, waiting to get a ride, reading in the office while she sat there waiting for me to leave so she could go the fuck home. And so I talked to her, and she was like, yeah, sure. So they accepted our little turtle into their tank, and that one actually escaped the Buell curse.
But this is the one that lost one flipper?
Yeah, it lost the front right flipper.
Right.
Because it was missing a limb, they renamed it Eileen.
Why Eileen? Because it's missing a flipper? What is that correlation?
Because it leans.
Oh my god.
Yeah, it's a little cruel, but I had no say in it. And I would check up on that turtle every year or two, and then apparently got moved to an entirely different location, like a district office. But last I saw, it's about the size of Dirtle the turtle.
Oh, it's still alive?
So it's
Wow, that's crazy.
I know. The flipper sort of grew back. It's like if you cut someone's hand off and they regrew a fist. Like they don't have the claws and a lot of the webbing, but they still have most of a hand to swim with.
Huh.
They being this one specific turtle. I don't know why it got plural all of a sudden. But that was how our turtles went.
Can turtles regenerate? What is it? Salamanders and reptiles. Some reptiles can regenerate their tails.
There's levels of it. I think newts and salamanders can do epimorphosis, which is some structures can regenerate. but it's from like a limited stem cell population or some shit like that. Mm-hmm. Whereas I don't know about flatworm, but I know for like a hydra, you can cut it in half, and the top half will regenerate, the bottom half, and the bottom.
Wait, what's a
bottom
hydra?
Half will.
Is that a type of worm, or is that?
It's a very, very small. Oh, my teacher would be really pissed off at me for not knowing what type of animal it is, but it
is it like what?
It's like a tiny octopus.
Okay,
It's like shaped like a flower vase, and then it just has tentacles waving out of the end of it, right? Mm-hmm. It's a little cup with like tentacles at the end, and it just grabs shit and eats it. You can cut it in half, and the tentacle end will regrow the head, and the head end will regrow tentacles, because it has like proliferating population of stem cells that are completely undifferentiated that it can use to like recreate any part of the body, as long as the damage isn't so substantial that it can't come back from it entirely.
Goddamn stem cells, man.
Yeah.
Dude, I mean, this is a good segue into going into being a doctor, because I talk about this all the time, is like stem cell research, and like all the celebrities and people who have money who have been using stem cell therapy to kind of help regenerate parts of their body that they've either injured or, completely just like messed up. And I think it's crazy, and I'm really hoping that the research into stem cells and the applications, it becomes legalized, it becomes more of a normal thing to do. But there's so much like controversy behind using it.
Yeah, it's very stigmatized. There's like a religious connotation attached to it.
Yeah.
Like sort of like, if you're gonna do this and you're gonna create shit, like you could have with sufficient research, you could like regrow a human hand, or maybe even an entire person.
Yeah.
And then does that make you God? Obviously not, because I didn't create everything. But like,
but you created a person.
Yeah, and some people think that is sacrilege. So everyone's allowed to their own opinions.
Yeah.
And mine is stupid.
I mean, people.
I think stem cells could be cool.
Yeah, I mean, people have been playing not the role of God, but they've been playing a more controlling part in just living. And I think it's just, we are in a very interesting time period in human history, just because of how advanced technology is, how advanced science is. And I think within our lifetime, like, we're going to see some crazy stuff happening. And
yeah, but how about the lifetime after that? If we don't...
Oh, no, that's screwed. The lifetime after ours is...
nuclear warfare ourselves or global warming ourselves...
Yeah, one of those things is probably bound to happen.
Yeah, but if not... I mean, there's two ultimate possibilities. Essentially, I guess three. A, we get destroyed by an alien invasion or some shit, right? Mm-hmm. Listen to that first because it was the last one to pop in my mind. B, we destroy ourselves.
Right.
Or C, we multiply and spread to every conceivable edge of the universe. Mm-hmm. C would be pretty cool to see.
It would be cool.
Like,
but
imagine that shit in 1,000 or 1,000,000 years.
The thing with C is assuming that the majority of the population can stop.
Yeah, we might just have planet fights.
Yeah,
Star Wars and shit.
Yeah, but the thing is humans have this issue with debating, and I talked about this when I was talking to the Heffler, where it's like, and especially now, it's when people attempt to have different sides to a situation, and this is like just considering the U.S. when there's any problem, any issue that arises, there's always two sides, and there's always arguments that start happening. Like there's always, people don't really sit down and just talk about things. You know what I mean? Like think about Donald Trump and Kim Jong-un. They can't, like, it's just, how do you fix that situation? What do you do?
I mean, they did a study and it showed that the if someone who is like entrenched in an opinion is presented with ideas from the other side, or even like maybe facts backing it up, no matter what their stance might be, left or right, good or bad, the more evidence they see to the contrary of what they believe, the more firmly entrenched they will become in their own belief. So like face-to-face debate is essentially, I mean, very few people will be able to take anything away from that, and online debate is beyond useless, obviously.
Oh yeah, without a doubt. Because you get to hide yourself behind a mask, behind a facade. I mean, you're not really displaying your true identity. Being online, you can be whoever you want, whatever you want,
people
however
can
you
be
want.
Assholes.
Yeah, and most people are.
That's what made us get to the top. The ability to just fuck over every other species one at a time or all at once. No, there's other like subspecies or even different species of humans, Neanderthals and Denisovans, stuff like that. Humanoids, same-ish size, and I mean not necessarily the same intelligence, but somewhere between us and chimpanzee.
Yeah.
And we must have completely destroyed them to get to this point. Some of it was slightly interbreeding. People have varying levels of like Neanderthal or Denisovan genes in them. Like people of Asian or like Pacific Island descent have higher levels of Denisovan DNA from like interbreeding with that group of humanoids. And like everyone has a certain amount of Neanderthal DNA.
Right.
Just from that shit. But we fucked and or killed them.
And
until
that's
they were
why
gone.
we're here and they're not.
Yeah. That's how we got to the top.
Right. And so to be like, so us being alive, like us still, that was horrible. I don't even know what I wanted to say there. Anyways,
have you ever had a
dream? That's exactly what I just did there.
And you were where you could and where you would be in to do and when you could even do to look more like.
Exactly. So with that, I just want to ask you, when did you want to become a doctor? Because
hopefully sometime in the next 8 years.
No, that's not what I. No. The main aspect that I want to talk about with you being here is the fact that you're a senior in college and you're already accepted into a medical program. The entirety of the time that you've been in college, you wanted to be a doctor. Like, what sparked that? And, just like, why that decision? Why commit to, being a doctor, taking the step to go to med school, take the full 8 years and then do the residency and all that? Like, what's the reason behind it?
I mean, I know I'm smart enough or gifted enough for some shit to be able to do it. I know that I would like to be able to help people. Recently, by working summer jobs at an assembly line, I learned that I would rather kill myself than work a full-time job sitting down. So doctoring is standing up, which is nice. And I don't know if I'd like money because I've never had a lot of money. But I like the idea of money. I would like to have some of that. But if everything goes great, I'm not going to be making... Let's see, it's going to be 1 year until I graduate.
Right.
And then...
4 years for med school.
Yeah, hopefully get through that shit. So it's 5 years from now, I start making $50,000 to $55,000 as a New York State resident. That's what they call them. Like a hospital resident, not just as a resident in New York State.
Yeah.
But anyways, it's another 3 to 5 years of that until I either become a doctor or enter a specialization, which would be, further increased pay, but still like training and shit for another 2 to 5 years maybe. Hopefully I wouldn't have to do that, but all of that considered, it's going to be 8 to 10 or maybe 12 years until I start making,
right? Yeah,
6 figures.
And so like that, it's a commitment. It's a very big commitment.
Yeah, but ideally, it's once I start making a lot of money, I'd work for some time between, like, realistically maybe like I was saying 10 to 20, but realistically like 15 to 20 years. If I was making like $250,000, $300,000 a year, I'm shitty at mental math right now because I'm distracted, but I was doing it earlier, and essentially if I was able to put away, like, let's say $2 million at like 5% interest rate, just like tracking the market. 6 to 7% is easily achievable if you just diversify your shit. 5%, I would say, therefore, is very like conservative.
Yeah, it's reasonable.
So if I just got like $2 million set aside, I'd be making like $100,000
to live off of,
just passive income. And then I started thinking like, well, maybe make $4 million, spend $200,000 a year. Probably would be $200,000 before tax, but still, my end game is bounded by a lot of shitty properties in very nice places of the world.
Okay, but this is going into the money aspect, like actually getting
Oh,
there.
what motivates
Yeah,
me
what was the
to be a
reason you
doctor?
wanted to be a
I
doctor?
really love science.
Okay,
Scientific
yeah.
process very much interests me. I like to know what makes people work. Um, just I don't know. Human body's
Just thinking
fascinating.
money.
Unless you study it really closely, and then you get into pathways, and then it's just memorizing series of letters and numbers that turn one another on and off. But it's very interesting.
If you could name one interesting, like the most interesting fact that you learned from all your years of college so far,
Ooh.
what would it be? Has to be one that really stood out.
All right, but you're gonna have to edit out this awkward silence.
No. I'm not gonna. I don't edit things out. One, I'm too lazy to edit things out. Two, it makes it choppy and it doesn't like flow well. But like, just take your time and think about it. There has to be one thing.
I mean, I can't think of anything off the top of my head that like recently boggled my mind or anything, but just something little that I thought was cool was some shit we learned in Bio 202 or 203 where, well, for starters, when you like hold your breath and then you ultimately get the urge to like breathe out and take another breath, it isn't because you're running low on oxygen. It's because carbon dioxide is building up in your blood, which happens at the same time as you running low on oxygen. But
so it's the pressure building up.
It's a proxy for oxygen content, not necessarily the actual concentration. And a lot of it is dependent on partial pressure. So what this means is you can be basically someone can go diving, right? They'll be at surface level, they're fine. They go down underwater deep, right? And then the higher pressure outside would make the gases expand on the inside of the person's body and lungs and such. And because of this, it increases the partial pressure of not only CO2 but oxygen. So you can actually have, relatively speaking, a lower amount of oxygen, I guess, molecules circulating in your lungs and in your blood system, but you will be fine. But then, as you come back up for air, something known as shallow water blackout, the pressure outside your body decreases, and it makes it so that
the pressure inside would be a lot higher at this point. No.
Relatively speaking, compared to the outside. A fraction of the outside. Now it's the same as the outside. So the shit on the inside would go.
Would it collapse? No.
Oh wait, no. All right. When you go underwater, the pressure on the outside
is more than
increases and it compresses it, so that increases the partial pressure because PV equals nRT.
Yeah.
When they come back up, the pressure inside their body is essentially the same as that outside of their body, and equalizes partial pressure inside their lungs decreases, and so while they previously had a perfectly normal amount of oxygen in their blood and in their lungs, all of a sudden they knock out. Like
when they come above water,
above a certain level.
Okay.
Like it usually be between like 20 to 10 feet underwater. As they come back up from a deep dive, they just
black out. Yeah.
Which is why you gotta take your time. I mean, also because of the bends. The bends is much worse than just getting like knocked out a little. The bends.
What's the bends? Mercedes Benz?
Now that one I would have to Google to give you anything beyond a speculative bullshit answer. But here I go, because if people wanted to Google.
Wait, what's it called? I can Google it really quick.
Bends.
The bends.
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 Essentially, there's gases in your blood and shit, but then as you return back up to surface area, again, like the gases expand, but instead it's a problem with the gases being in your blood, and it could ultimately, like, a bunch of nitrogen could dissolve out, expand, and become basically sources of embolisms, like air bubbles inside your veins. If you have a hose with water in it, it's transferring water, like water goes in, water comes out, and it's a perfect exchange. If there's a hole in the middle of the hose, or if there's like an air bubble in the middle of the hose, it doesn't work anymore. All the air on one side like falls out, and then the water on the other side would have to push the air bubble out.
Right.
But yeah, if there's air bubbles in your veins, you are not going to do well, especially once those air bubbles get pushed into your heart.
Yeah. So the bends is known as decompression sickness. It's caused by a reduction in ambient pressure that results in the formation of bubbles of inert gases within tissues of the body. It may happen when leaving a high-pressure environment, ascending from death, or ascending to altitude. So, yeah. I'm trying to figure out what the specifics of it are more so.
Well, just nitrogen in general kind of dissolving out of your blood because of the...
Yeah, okay, there's a lot of information here. I'm not going to go through all of this stuff.
You know how you can really, really lower the pressure of something to make it boil instead of heating it up?
Mm-hmm.
It's that.
Oh, okay.
Kind of make your blood boil a little bit.
Ah, look at that. Interesting
Literally.
stuff.
Not fun, but...
Not fun, but interesting.
Better than being in space. Because I think your blood would actually boil in the, vacuum of space, I guess. Assuming the incredibly cold temperatures didn't freeze you? I don't know. Again, more speculative bullshit. Hey, Imran. So, when I was like 11, my parents got me a dog.
Okay.
We're going back to the pets.
Okay. Wait, did this dog get injured? Or hurt?
It's a pet that we've had. None of them have ended well so far. This dog was dope. His name was Hugo.
Hugo the dog?
Yes. Actually, if you've ever seen the movie Princess Bride, which you might not have because it's some white people bullshit.
No, I've seen Princess. I think everyone's seen Princess Bride at least once.
It's a good movie.
What's
you
her
know,
name?
You know when he's like
the actress in Princess Bride. I just forget her name.
I keep thinking of Carrie Elwes, but that's a guy.
I wanted to say Anne Hathaway, but I feel like that's wrong.
Anyways, you know the guy that's like, "Hello, my name is Hugo Montoya. You killed my father."
Yeah.
We thought he was saying his name was Hugo Montoya, so we named the dog Hugo, right? Mm-hmm. And then later, after the dog died, we found out that his name was Inigo Montoya. So it was just a complete failure. But this dog, and I've heard is indicative of all Jack Russell Terriers, was hard-headed as anything I've ever met. It was incredibly stubborn, right? So here's the deal. We got an electric fence put up, right? Mm-hmm. Little perimeter around the house. Maybe like 20 feet or so from every side of the house. You were good to go. Past that, no good. A lot of zaps and barks. So this dog figured out that the fence itself had a range. Mm-hmm. So he could start running, hit the invisible electric fence, get zapped by it for like 2 to 4 seconds, and then he'd be free. So you'd hear like... and then he was just gone. Because as soon as he got outside the fence, there was no fucking way you were going to drag him back through the... You had to catch him, which first off you weren't going to do because he already escaped. He was fucking... whatever that guy's name is at the end of Shawshank. Right. He's home free. And then you had to take his collar off, and then you had to carry him back across. So he lasted about a month, and then one morning, before I went to school, I found out that he got hit by a car. My neighbor came and told us that dog got hit by a car.
Unfortunate.
So he died doing what he loved, which was whatever the fuck he wanted. Really, I admire that. The first dog.
Wait, really quick before I forget this. For the people who think I'm a retard for saying Anne Hathaway was in The Princess Bride, I was thinking The Princess Diaries. Yeah, I was thinking Princess Diaries.
Have you seen Princess Bride?
No, I have not.
Okay,
but I did Google
it is.
The Princess Bride.
Like Andre the Giant.
Yeah, Andre the Giant's in it, and also Kevin Spacey's in House of Cards. The wife in House of Cards. Claire. That's
the princess?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Buttercup?
Yep, that's Buttercup. It's Claire from House of Cards.
So, before I was born, until when I was 2 or 3, we had this dog named Bubba. Bubba. He was a big fat basset hound, and he was awesome. But this is all hearsay because I don't really have much first-person evidence to share with you guys from that time period. I don't recall too much. But I guess he just got out one day, ate a bunch of shit, his stomach turned over, and he died.
Man, dude, pets just did not work for your family.
Some dogs, in just by chance, and other dogs, specifically their breeds, are prone to it. If they eat a bunch, or some weird shit, or just are in a strange position, their stomach can just basically turn over. That's it goes from being a cylinder to a cylinder that's kind of you just twisted it, yeah. And then they're fucked. Because at that point, You just you starve to death while you keep eating and shit piles up until it falls out of your throat. Is
that's a
the
horrible
layman's
way to
term
die.
of putting that, yeah. I don't think he got that far along. I think he got put down. The only animal so far that we know that escaped the Buell curse was a dog that we had named Bart, actually like 3 years before Bubba, right? Mm-hmm. And he was cool. He was a black lab, very chill. And we ended up giving him to our cousin's family when we got Bubba because they didn't get along. And because he was no longer in our family, he escaped the Buell curse. And this black lab died at the ripe old age of 16. Like, it couldn't even walk at this point. It was just peeing where it was. So it ended up getting put down.
What's the average age for a dog?
Longer with smaller.
Wait, what?
Bigger dogs, shorter lifestyles.
Shorter. Okay. So let's say like a medium-sized dog. What's the average age of like a golden retriever?
10 to 14.
10 to 14 in human years.
Yeah.
So how many is that in dog years? What is it? Is it 7? It's 7, right?
7. I don't know if there's
49.
any, foundation to that.
I don't either, but I've always been told that it's 7 dog years.
It's a law now. They enacted it recently.
What? How do you enact that it's 7 years to... What did they do? Like, the average... They, like, compared the average human life to the average dog life and saw the difference or, like, the correlation?
Trump made a royal Twitter decree, man. You didn't see?
No, I didn't see it. I wasn't on my Twitter flow today.
Yeah, well, it was at 2 a.m. He gets active around now.
You know what's great that he calls Kim Jong-un Rocket Man?
Rocket Man. Burning out his Una up here alone.
Okay, I have a lot more questions to get through. Going back to Reggie and your family, like, you've always been in academia. You've always been focused on school. You've, you want to be a doctor, and you've committed to, college and all of that stuff. But most of your family members have been in athletics. Like, your brother, your older sister have both been in D1 athletics, and then your younger brother also has spent a lot of his time in athletics. I mean, you have spent time in athletics too, but, like, did you ever consider being, a college athlete or, like D1 sports or anything like that?
So here's how it goes. My parents were they both met at college, and then they both ended up getting masters. So they're fairly smart people. I don't know if any of that trickled down to me. But my family is like, they do well grades-wise. I would say, yeah. So Brennan is the oldest one. He's pretty gifted in math and shit, but he got into weed pretty early, like me. So distractions. And Reggie's also like fairly smart. I'm smarter than them. Can't complete that sentence, but
smarter than him. I agree.
I promise. And then Elise is, I would say, yeah, she's fairly smart also, but she is so much more determined than myself or either of my brothers. She has unbelievable study ethic and work habits. Work ethic, study habits. And so she was, given maybe slightly less than us, and she has gone a lot further with it. She's the only one that went to an Ivy League school out of any of us.
She went to Cornell, right?
Yep,
yeah.
Cornell. And she rode. She did a fucking D1 athletics shit.
Yeah.
While she was at an Ivy League school. And I had all this potential, and I just chose the cheapest school possible. But getting back to athletics, my parents, my mom played field hockey for a while, in probably like middle and high school, and my dad played lacrosse in middle school, but they didn't like do anything super athletic. Reggie and Brennan are probably the two most athletic people I know, and for the life of me, I couldn't determine a way to figure out the tiebreak between the two of them because they're just both ridiculous. Anytime we go somewhere, we'll go to the beach, and like I'll just be like bobbing in the waves or like laying out in the sun or some shit, and they immediately they have a football and they're just running routes with each other, just making these ridiculous throws and catches because they know that they can lay out all the way in the sand, and like land face first and not get injured and just make these ridiculous like ESPN top 10 play catches. You could invent a sport and then show it to these kids and they would be on top of it within 10 minutes flat, right?
Damn.
But Brennan Party's like me, so he has about the same body, but he's incredibly athletic.
Okay. Even on top of the body?
Yeah. Reggie is fucking, what, 6'4" now.
Yeah.
And like 230 or some shit.
That's outrageous.
He was pudgy during puberty. I think that's the key. You eat well while you're
During
hormonal
puberty?
and shit.
Yeah, I agree with that.
You spike right up, and then you like have that nice
base.
end of puberty / post-pubertal cup, and then you just emerge into adulthood. Elise
kind of coast.
and myself, far less gifted in the athletics department. Just very.
I mean, Elise had a
very clumsy.
What was it?
Elise is an absolute goddamn tank.
No, she had what thyroid issues. No, what was it? There was something. I remember you telling me about this.
Yeah, she had a little bit of hypothyroidism going on for a while. While that was undiagnosed, that was hard because she would run cross country and she'd go like between 5 and 10 miles a day, pretty much every day, and be eating a normal amount. And she wasn't overweight by any stretch of the imagination, but she wasn't like stick thin like she should have been for fucking running that much. I was delightfully chubby, and it was entirely my fault. But like I did cross country, and then I'd just be like, oh cool, now I can eat more, So it just balanced right back out.
So,
but she, again, because of her determination and her persistence,
she just worked through it.
She can destroy any endurance sport. I think she's run a marathon. I know she's run a half marathon. She hiked the Appalachian Trail. It's over 1,500 miles.
That's crazy.
Straight. She took like maybe 1 to 2 breaks, but other than that, she just stayed in hospitals and got mailed like food at stops and just walked 30, 40 miles a day for months.
Wow.
She was a D1 rower. She loves biking. She dragged me into a hike one time up in the Adirondacks. Mm-hmm. Most beautiful area I've ever seen in my life, besides maybe Hawaii and tropical shit like that.
Take your time to breathe.
No, it's a burp, Morty.
That's what it is.
Grandpa's got a burp. And I had a great time staring at the ground because I was always behind these people. I was super far behind. My parents were like, Colby, you need to fucking get your ass off the couch, because I'd been a professional couch potato that far into the summer, and they're like, you need to go do something. Right. Elise is hiking. But when Elise does anything, it could be like visiting Paris, and she'd be like, all right, here's the itinerary, like 7:45.
She has like scheduled
7:55 baguettes, 8:01 Eiffel Tower, 8:02 voulez-vous avec no wait, couchez-vous avec c'est quoi? No, there's
Sasquatch?
Some shit.
Where?
Voulez-vous?
We don't need to go.
Alright. I got so far off track.
Given the background of athleticism in your siblings,
why were we talking about France?
Huh? I don't know. You went to France,
but did I?
You started talking about we were talking about Elise and like her background in sports, but it was why you didn't get into sports.
Oh yeah. No, I did.
Like you played.
I played
lacrosse.
I played hockey. I played.
Okay.
So I didn't play high school hockey because you have to try out for that, and I had my spirit was there, and You guys ever watch the movie Rudy?
Rudy? What is that?
Some more white people shit. Sean Astin.
Nope.
Samwise Gamgee.
No.
He's a football player who's not built like a football player, but it's a heartwarming story, and he puts in all this time, and at the very end, he gets to go out on the field. I haven't actually watched it. But,
Okay, good plot summary.
I found that if you, truly believe in yourself and just, believe that you can do it and all this other Disney bullshit, it won't work out. I didn't do well at all. But there were, less competitive leagues that were fun because you could, actually score and shit,
right.
Even though I wasn't good. I mostly liked hockey. I entirely liked hockey for the hitting people. You could light people the fuck up. And sometimes if you're just I don't like this game anymore, you could, this particular match, and just be like, yeah, sure, fuck coach and fuck that kid. I'm going to get put in the penalty box. This one time, oh my God. So, this kid on my team, wasn't a particular fan of him, but he's on my team. And I played defense because I love that shit. There was a lot of hitting, and I got to protect the goalie. Just seemed right. I played defense in almost every sport I've ever played. And I just loved hitting people, you know? But anyways, this kid, Nick, he got, hit really illegally one time. And ended up going like face first into the boards, got fucked up, had a concussion, was out for like 6 to 8 weeks, right? He came back, and his first game back on the ice, there's something like, so there's regular penalties. You could trip someone, or like you hit them a little bit high and you get them with your elbows, you get elbowing, or like just for mouthing off at the ref, shit like that, right? But then there's other ones like for fighting, or fighting's like a 5-minute penalty compared to a 2-minute penalty, or if you hit someone from behind, like blatantly, like you just see the back of their jersey, you still light them up, and it's usually into the boards. It's called a 2 and 10, and it means your team is down for 2 minutes, just like a normal penalty, but someone has to come and serve that penalty for you, and then at the end of 2 minutes they go out, and then you sit in the penalty box for 8 minutes after that and think about what you've done. So that's like a really fucked up penalty because it means you could have hurt someone really bad.
Right.
Like that's how this kid got a concussion in the first place. And some kid did the most blatant cross-check I've ever seen from behind him into the boards. And, like, this kid went down on his first game back after getting heavily concussed.
Did he get concussed again?
I don't think so. I think he was alright. But I chased this kid down from, like, a third of the way across the rink and absolutely destroyed him. Also from behind. This kid was a little cocksucker. I could care less.
Did he deserve it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, that's fine then.
He had a blatant hit, and he got a penalty. What I did was an equal penalty. We served it at the same time, so neither of our teams were down a person. And it was just me and him sitting in a penalty box. Or it would have been.
You were the teammate, or you the other guy that you...
Me and one of my teammates serving for me.
Oh, okay.
The other guy and one of his teammates serving for him. But I broke like at least 1 or 2 of his ribs, and he got taken off the ice. Fuck that kid. He was a little bitch. That's the only time I think someone got taken off the...
So when you're taking off when you're saying like you're in the penalty box, like when you're getting taken out, is that 2 people from the people that were supposed to be on the rink? Or like... Like
in a 2 and 10?
Yeah. So like when you're in the... So it's like your team is down 2 men.
So the person that would serve, it'd be like the scrub from your team. You'd be like, hey, kid that just opens and closes the door and actually doesn't get let out onto the ice. You're going to go and sit in the penalty box for 2 minutes and think about what someone else did. And then you're going to get let out. And the fucked up part is when you get let out, instead of going onto the ice,
you go back
because you're so bad, you usually sprint back to the ice, or you sprint back to the bench, and then they put the person in that they wanted in the whole time before they were down a person. Sad. Yeah. But we didn't have to go down a person just because it was, matching 2 and 10s. But the only other time I injured someone was... There was this person on the other team. Now, this was like any sort of recreational sports in the age group of like 10 to 14 years old. You're just going to see some people that have already bloomed and some people that have not.
That have not, yeah.
There was this dude on the other team, and he was absolutely destroying our team. And this was in like a sectionals game or whatever. Like, we weren't going to do well. I think, we ended up losing that game, and that was the end of our quote-unquote playoff run. Not that we were really competitive most years. Well, that's how it worked. You either moved down a league and dominated everyone, or moved up a league and tried really hard and did like I. And this kid was destroying our team, like laying out kids. I think he injured someone on our team, and so he was out. And it was like potentially the last game. Ended up being the last game of the season. Stakes are high, and this ended like it wasn't a dirty hit or anything. His head was up. I hit him from like the front. It was less than 3 strides. Like you can't take a full start at someone and charge at them and then take them down. It has to be like a certain... it can only be a certain distance. You have to start within a certain distance of them. It's called charging.
Also, if you just started from one side to the other, you just have so much momentum.
But the thing is, they can also just deke you at the last second, and you go full speed in the boards, and you just destroyed yourself. And it happens more than anyone wants to talk about. And once it happens, you never want it to happen to you again. So you go for conservative hits.
Yeah.
So unless you really get someone that's not looking at all, you never really go all out on a hit. But this person was not looking. So I didn't have like a ridiculous charge at them or anything.
But you still had a pretty good.
Yeah. And this dude was a lot bigger than me. He easily 30 pounds, 3 to 4 inches on me. And I took him out, and he fell on the ice, had huge ass fucking elbow pads. I don't know how, but he broke his elbow, right? And I didn't mean to break this kid's elbow. He wasn't doing anything wrong. He was just hitting people. He wasn't like the other kid who fucking destroyed someone from behind for no reason. And B, I felt a lot worse about it once I found out it was a girl.
What?
Elbow I had just broke. She was bigger than pretty much everyone. Why was
she?
It was co-ed. There just usually weren't a lot of girls, but she was like, you know how girls hit puberty earlier.
Yeah,
she was just post puberty, and like also hockey pads just make you look huge.
Yeah.
So she was just taller than everyone, and like probably a little bit brolic on top of that for being a fucking 13-year-old girl. I was feeling great, and then she takes her helmet off. I'm like, oh fuck, I'm so sorry. No, I'm not usually like this. You know, I support women's suffrage. I just...
You broke a girl's elbow.
She was on the rink. She could have broken my elbow. It was just... It was clean. I didn't get a penalty, and I still feel bad about it.
Oh, man. Okay, but going back to the question, goddammit. Why didn't you get into... Is that why you didn't get into athletics? You broke something?
No. I tried as hard as I could. Like, I played... I was actually the first person in our family, in our high school, to play like sports all 3 seasons. So I did like
for hockey or lacrosse.
I did like cross country. No, you don't do like any all 3 seasons.
Oh,
you do 3 seasons. So I do fall. I do like cross country or football. Winter I did indoor track because I didn't make the hockey team. And indoor track was a fucking joke. It was just hide and seek from the coach. I gained at least 10 to 15 pounds. I did indoor track. I never did that shit again. And then in the spring I did lacrosse, which was probably the most fun. Lacrosse was great because it's defense. They just give you a 5-foot metal pole and you hit people. But
you said you love checking people.
Yeah, so I was the first 3-sport athlete theoretically in my family. Realistically, I wasn't good at any of them, but not for lack of trying.
So did you try to were you ever in consideration of attempting to apply for like sports in college? Or? No. If you're gonna play sports in college, in general, you should be like noticed and on the varsity team as a freshman. As a freshman in high school, or
as a freshman in high school,
okay,
you should be on the varsity team and like behaving as well as a good player. As a sophomore player, like these are parameters for playing college. As a sophomore player, you should be like having a huge impact on the game and starting and shit like that. Like maybe to even team captain. As a junior player, you should be able to almost single-handedly dictate the outcome of the game by yourself because you're that good. If you're going to end up playing in college, give or take. I mean, like if you're gonna play well, that's the parameters for hockey at least. But hockey is ridiculous, and I was nowhere near being able to even make the varsity team as like a junior or senior, let alone a freshman. But my brother played lacrosse at Virginia Military Institute, which is D1. It was low D1
but it's still
for lacrosse,
D1.
but it's still D1, which means they still played Syracuse, who has like 10 national titles.
Right.
They still played UVA, Virginia, like right next door to Virginia Military Institute. They played like a lot of really good teams. They got beat by the best of them, but they it was interesting. The one thing that like was consistent was they had one of the best, if not the best, face-off guys in the entire nation on their team for some reason. Steven Robarge, unparalleled in his ability to win face-offs. We would be getting 65, maybe 70% of possessions or more just off the face-off, right? After that, we would lose it fairly quickly. We being VMI, because we is Brown and Brent is VMI. But he like led the league in winning face-offs. But you know, they won some games. I was really excited about the tailgates they had. Those were terrific. Great food, Southern cooking.
Oh, Southern cooking is the best.
Southern
food.
Woman.
Is... that too.
Very
thick.
No, just classy.
Oh, really?
I don't know. It's interesting. But there's a cultural difference. In New York, someone will be like, "Hey, fuck you, buddy. You guys are best friends." And then in the South, someone will go, oh, bless your soul. Bless your soul means go fuck yourself in Southern talk. Yeah.
Why? Why?
Oh, bless your soul, dear. Like, it's
just like super sarcastic,
cynical. Yeah.
Huh, that's
like
weird.
they will be like super fake sweet to your face and then just gossip and bitch about you.
I hate that.
But
I like
they're
the New York
nicest
way
people
better.
to your face.
I like the New York.
I mean,
way better.
I'm not saying all Southern people are terrible.
No, but I mean, I'm just more
making
common.
Sweeping generalizations because I'm bad at specifying.
So you didn't get into college sports?
No, I just figured from early on, I just figured I'd ride on my test grades because I did fairly well on the PSAT, didn't realize I was worth anything. 2 years later, found out, like, it entered me in qualifications for, and I ultimately got, like, the National Merit Scholarship.
Right.
So that has helped pay for a lot of my shit at
Stony
Stony Brook.
That's a big deal.
And then took the SAT, did good, but took the ACT and, like... Well, I took the ACT before the SAT, did better on the ACT, and then took the ACT again, and did... The first time I did really well on everything except for the very last section, which was science.
Mm-hmm.
And the second time I took it, it was like, literally, there's no pressure on any of that shit except for science. The science was the very last one. So it was like, if I do better in any of these first 4 sections, cool. Mm-hmm. But I'm probably not going to because I already did really well.
Can you super score the ACT? No.
Yeah.
Oh, you can?
Yeah,
oh, okay.
But I didn't. I got a perfect score in one.
Oh, what up, tough guy?
Sounds very impressive, but I got ACT is out of 36. I guess there's only 4 sections. I'm retarded. ACT's out of 36.
You got a perfect score, so you're not.
I got a 35.5, technically. I got 35 on 2 sections, 36 on 2 sections, but they round that up. So I got rounded from mediocrity into greatness. But anyways, I don't know how I got that score, but I've been riding on that for a little while. So that got me scholarship money here. I just figured I would go here, here being Stony Brook, because it has great,
facilities, great price, and all
academic reputation, great pre-med reputation, and cheap. And then I figure if I go here and then end up getting into a med school, then it's fuck all wherever I went for undergraduate.
It doesn't matter. The med school is what matters.
They're really gonna look like or gonna look at. So
you may not have gotten into sports, but your intellect has definitely put you where you are, and is gonna put you where you're gonna be. And then aside from that, sports definitely wouldn't have given you as much free time to, do whatever. And I want to get into a little bit of, you're I want to say you're a D1 smoker.
I don't know.
So no, I mean, it's definitely something that I want to delve into because there's a stigma behind smoking, behind doing substances, behind drinking.
Well, it was cool when. The really fun part was when, like, people thought that I was, like, one of the smart kids, and then I just had no ability to socialize with anyone because those, like, formative years from, like, 2 to 13, where people learn social skills, I just spent reading. So I learned, like, fucking useless information.
I don't think it was...
General knowledge and shit.
Yeah,
I didn't learn how to, talk to people. So I really didn't know how to, like, communicate, and everyone just kind of viewed me as that kid that would, like, sit in study hall and read the dictionary and shit. Which, I don't know why I did that, because I only did that to seem smart in the first place. Fucking childhood was stupid. I was like, oh, people think I'm smart, why won't I have friends? Maybe you should have fucking tried talking to them. Oh, shit. Look at that. But instead of that, I smoked pot, because I was like, no, if I do this, they'll know I'm dumb, and then they'll talk to me.
So, was that the original reason you started smoking?
Then they were like, hey, he does dipshit stuff, too, so that's just fun.
So what was
gave me a wider appeal, but didn't, like, make me friends.
So what was the first, like, reason why?
I was super bored. Now, I don't know what came over me, but one day, just late summer, I figured I'd Google, like, what are the actual
the
long-term health effects of smoking marijuana. Like, how bad will it actually fuck you up? Because all I've heard about it before is DARE. So, and
what does DARE stand for again?
Drugs are really ecstasy.
Who had started that program? Was it Ronald Reagan's wife? When DARE started?
I don't know, but there's many studies that have shown that DARE increased drug prevalence in teens.
Drug Abuse Resistance Education. That's
I
what
just
it stands
remember the
for.
lion and how cool it would be when people wore those shirts. And you're like, that kid smokes so much pot. But anyways, I thought it was like, I kind of laughed my ass off a little bit when
Unmapped.
I got a, like, they ended up writing an article about me in the paper for some reason, about me getting a perfect score in, like, the like, in the town paper, which was stupid. And it's just, like, picture of me cheesing, you know, smiling hard, and it's like, this kid got a 36 and shit. And I just know that, like, I don't know, just like mostly one friend's mom in particular who caught us with weed this one time and like wouldn't let me, don't talk to me or my son ever again, and like confiscated the MFLB that I had at that time. I was like, just imagine her face when she's like, oh shit, this kid did a lot better on the ACT than my son would. But animals.
No, I'm
Can I finish out the animals thing?
Which one?
Real quick. Just all of them.
Which animals?
My animals.
Just all of them? I don't want to go through the
I'm halfway through.
animals.
I'm halfway done, buddy. Alright, so we got this cat this one time, right?
Okay.
We domesticated a cat because we needed a rodent killer. We were having squirrels and chipmunks burrowing into the side of our house, and it was fucking up our winter heating bills, right? So we were like, we need a cat bad, and then somehow the next day, like, a feral ass cat just walked into our backyard. Orange striped cat, missing like half of one ear. We captured it, basically put it into a cage, and like fed it milk for 2 weeks, and then eventually we were like, you're ours, and let him out, and he was like, I guess. And we gave him food and shit. We later found out, like, once we caught it, obviously, this cat had a problem with his tear ducts, so his eyes, he couldn't shed tears, so his eyes were just all crusty as shit, right? Ew. And then all of the extra liquid that would normally become tear duct, like just tears and shit, just became saliva, and so this cat just purred really heavily and drooled a lot. Oh. It was ridiculous, but it was a free cat from the wilderness. It just got rerouted. I have no fucking clue. Weird. Just a blockage somewhere back there. No, my dad is never gonna pay more than like $10 to get something checked out on a cat. He doesn't give a shit about a cat. He's alright with dogs, but cats, nuh-uh. This cat was a warrior. I've seen it take out like crows and huge ass squirrels and shit. I've seen it fighting with like other feral cats in our backyard, but eventually it just. This is a thing too. Cat AIDS. My cat died of AIDS. Had feline AIDS. Just crawled away into the woods.
Lots of unprotected sex.
Probably. His name was Tigger. He was an orange cat named Tigger.
So wait, did you let it out?
We always called it Kitty.
Do you think it had kids that didn't play?
Probably not. I think
didn't play child support.
I think it was a dude. But that was that cat. Honestly, it lived a pretty decent life because we have no idea how old it was when we got it, and it killed and probably fucked whatever it wanted to. I think we got it fixed. It might have been a girl, and then just like fucked whatever. I don't know. I was young enough to like every cat's a girl at that point, right? Every dog.
Yeah, I know. Every dog's a boy. Every cat's a girl.
We had a dog named Buddy. He was cool. He was black lab, but like 5% beagle, and that was just enough to make him bark incessantly. But other than that, he was dope. He was also stubborn. And my sister's boyfriend at the time, on Christmas Day, like Christmas night, the dinner of Christmas night, accidentally left the door open, and the dog escaped, got out, ran around, and then got hit by a snowmobile, like half a mile away. Yeah. Wait, one of my dogs got run over by a car. Hugo got run over by a car. Buddy got run over by a snowmobile on Christmas.
Wow.
That Christmas, by the way.
Should write a book about this.
My parents, using the alias Santa, bought myself and Reggie the same exact set of gifts, except for one thing. Reggie got a nice ass like $125, $150 Vapor or Bauer like XXX hockey sticks, crazy shit, ultra light, super thin, titanium as fuck, and I got a beta fish. And Buddy died that night. And then my beta fish died 3 days later.
Oh my god. Wait, what was the name of the beta fish?
Didn't even get a name.
Wow.
No grave.
Sad.
Straight down the toilet. Very sad. Turtles, gone. We had a rabbit named Snowflake, right? Albino rabbit completely white. Its eyes were pink.
Are rabbits usually white?
No, most aren't. But like, there's like some breeds of rabbit.
Bunnies are bunnies white? Some.
There's no difference between bunnies. Like it's like it's like mallards and ducks, or like squares and rectangles. There's probably one's a subcategory of another one, but this one was like specifically like a albino bunny named Snowflake, completely white. By the way, one of the huge reasons I'm still terrified of my mom to this day. She escaped, or not she. My mom did not escape from the house. The rabbit escaped from the house. I have no fucking clue how.
Did mom catch it?
And escaped into a blizzard in the middle of winter with 2 to 3 foot tall snowdrifts anywhere into the woods, like several acres behind our house. And my mom caught a goddamn albino rabbit in the wilderness in the middle of a blizzard in winter.
That is impressive.
And
I would be scared of your mom. This is why I'm scared of your mom.
Well, she works at... All I know is she works for the government. She's legally not allowed to tell me what she does for a living until she's 73. Maybe 75? Some shit like that. So Snowflake, anyways, lived a decently long time, but had an outdoor cage. One day we came outside, there were just coyote tracks leading up to the cage and fur leading away. So that was Snowflake.
So a coyote got Snowflake?
Yep.
Okay.
Went through Buddy. I think
car,
that's pretty much all of it.
Snowmobile.
Dexter's fine.
Cat with AIDS. Turtle eaten by a raccoon. Beta fish down the toilet.
Yeah. But let's see. We bought Dexter used. He's a rescue basset hound, and you know nothing bad has happened when he was up with us. But he's a pussy. He's scared of everything. He probably was beaten and abused, and apparently was beaten and abused by someone that looked exactly like Brennan. This is the only explanation I can think of for the fact that he's terrified of Brennan.
Maybe because Brennan has like the balding going on, so he looks like an old, like middle-aged man.
Maybe,
or, like, resembles.
I mean, we got him from old people.
That's probably.
But my dad's also bald, so and he's like fine with my dad. But yeah, there's nothing wrong with him.
Maybe it's just the way he like moves around, or like is the way he is.
The cat we have now, Rhino, also a barn cat. If you're ever gonna get a cat, find a barn, befriend the farmer maybe, or just take a cat.
No, most people don't have access to a farm.
Well, fuck. Barn cats are 100% chiller. Like, you know how dogs are like, oh my god, you gave me food?
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
you must be God. And then you give cats food and they're like, this isn't filet mignon. If you get a barn cat, they act like a dog towards you. They're just like, oh my god, you're fucking awesome. Like, come give me attention. If you pet me, I will love you long time. You know, shit like that. So barn cats love you. We got Rhino as a kitten, and then awesome cat. I actually trained it as an attack cat. I first taught it to climb stuff by like gently tossing it at stuff, and it would like latch on.
I just imagine you
into like trees, and then it would like climb down. Not that high into the tree. I had like only 2 or 3 feet above me. No, I wouldn't fucking one hand whip it. It was an underhand throw. But then I found out I could like sneak up behind my brother with the cat when he wasn't looking and throw the cat at his back, and it would just
back. Oh, just latch his claw.
Yeah, it would just catch.
So
that was pretty brutal. I weaponized the cat, but we missed 2:02 a.m. It's 2:03.
Damn.
But that cat came limping back to the house one day. We don't know how it happened. Maybe she got hit by a car. Maybe she fell out of a tree. Maybe miscellaneous. But my dad was like, I'm pretty sure she's faking it because it's winter and like all cats are pieces of shit, and she just wants to stay inside. And we were about to put her back outside. I was like, let me look. And I like look really closely at the cat's foot or its leg, and there's like bones sticking out of the leg, like through the skin.
Right.
And so yeah, it had a compound fracture. So they took it in, and they're like, okay, so here's the deal. It's going to be $3,000 to put a cast on this cat's leg and get x-rays and everything. And with that, we have no guarantee that the cat will be able to have a healed leg or, be able to even keep it or some shit. Or it'll be $1,000 to amputate the leg. And my dad said, again, you know how you can't barter in a first world country?
Yeah.
Maybe I was lying. My dad said this cat was free. My pain tolerance is $500. If you have to put it down, do what you have to do. And then they were like, well, I guess we'll amputate it for $500. We're not gonna kill the cat just because you fucking don't like it. So we have a 3-legged cat. He's chill as fuck. I actually permanently stoned this cat by buying several ounces of high quality Jamaican catnip and sprinkling it and plenty of like nooks, crannies, and orifices around the house. But like in all these spots where like it had a consistent stash to like, even if like this shit got vacuumed up, it'd be like, I have some more under that flower pot over there. I got
so your
that.
just perpetually stoned.
That meowy wowie.
That was a good one.
That sounds pre-prepared. That's the funniest thing I've said all day.
So Stone Cat. So yeah, so going back to your kind of like usage of substances or drinking and things of that manner. Like, do you think that it's just because you're bored, or is it more because you just want to explore your mental capabilities, or like?
Somewhere between a mix of apparently I enjoy a challenge and apparently I have a severe issue with being bored.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Do you think that that's a common occurrence for people of high intellect?
Well, that would just be jerking myself off, wouldn't it?
Okay, yeah.
I'm so smart, that's why I have to smoke pot and make me dumb.
I mean, isn't that the original reason why you started?
Kinda. It was more to like change others' perception of me, which is a stupid, petty, middle to high school-ish ass bullshit reason to do shit. Essentially quintessential peer pressure without anyone ever talking to me or like offering me drugs. That's the thing. The first time, like pretty much everyone I know, like the first time they smoked, someone else got them. First time I smoked with me. And myself and I. Nobody else. And then I played Modern Warfare 2.
Hey,
in a lobby. I've never laughed so hard. But I had no idea what was going on. I remember just like having a moment of clarity and being like, what is going on? And like focusing beyond the fact that my entire body felt like noodles. And I was really, really giggly and happy. And like 3 out of the 6 people in the party had muted me because I was giggling incessantly. And I was like, what is going on? I check, like, is on high rise. And I'm running around tack knifing people.
High rise.
Higher than I've ever been in my entire life. And it's search and destroy. And I'm tack knifing people, and I was 8-2.
Damn, you're killing it.
It's like, I have no idea how the fuck this happened. And then once I started paying attention to the fact that, wait a second, I probably shouldn't have been tack knifing people. I didn't even realize it was search and destroy. And I did terribly from then on out. But that was an amazing night, which ended abruptly because I think a cricket farted outside, or maybe
the crickets fart. I don't think crickets fart.
Maybe a deer was itching its ass against a tree, but I heard a slight sound about 250 meters north of my position, and
got turtle pieces on.
Turned everything off and dove into bed. I was like, I'm gonna get caught. I've never been paranoid. I'm so paranoid. I don't like fucking God, and I'm gonna get caught. And yeah, and then like was just sort of high the next day because residual stonage.
Right.
Yeah.
So going back to so we talked about how you had a barn cat, so and like your history with your kind of high school environment. Given the fact that you're from an open area, some more upstate New York, how was the change in like the diversity of being from upstate New York, somewhere where it's relatively Caucasian, to somewhere that's so diverse in terms of people? Like you were an hour away from New York City, and the school is probably as diverse to slightly less just because of the Asian population on campus, but like relatively diverse campus. Like, was that a big change for you?
It's like the same amount of whites, slightly overrepresented Asian population at Stony Brook, and slightly underrepresented Black and Latino populations. But still, Skinny Atlas, New York, my hometown, is no lie 99 point something white. So first of all, this didn't happen as an accident. I came here on purpose because I knew I was considering going to Geneseo. And, I'm pretty white. I tan a little bit sometimes, in the summers. Incidental rays and such. But when I was visiting this college and there was like a Q&A session, I was in an auditorium, maybe like 50 to 100 other kids. I was the darkest kid there by like a lot. And I was like, if I go here, like if I just go from Skinny Atlas, which is almost the whitest place I've ever been in my entire life, to Geneseo, which is the whitest place I've ever been in my entire life. I have no doubt their academics are terrific, but I'm going to go into the real world and
Not
just
know
like,
what it's like talking to people with
yeah, just be like,
backgrounds.
oh, fuck, what do I do? You know? And there's no reason to be like that because everyone's the same, essentially. Some people are assholes, and that's universal. It has nothing to do with...
Some people suck.
Yeah. People suck sometimes. What's that from?
Tom Segura.
Yeah.
That's a Tom Segura.
Sometimes people suck. If I had known I could use that line. Yeah.
That's a good line.
But that's why I came here. I was like,
So do you
seems
think...
super fucking diverse, and...
So, like, do you think just, you know, being in this environment, being in an environment where, you know, there's such a diversity, there's such a different amount of people, you think that's molded you to change? Like, how big of an effect do you think that has had on who you were before coming to college versus who you are today?
Not that much. I mean, it was pretty much like as I expected it to be. It's just more people.
That's true. That's a good point.
Everyone's chill. Some people are like, yeah, some people are assholes regardless of skin color. And then the only...
I mean, like,
I guess
not
the only,
just color.
Yeah, I know, but the only, I guess I would call it reverse culture shock that I experienced was like the foreign kids on campus. And it's about like 10% of campus. I mean, they're just from different cultures, and there's, you know, like, it might not be as stigmatized there to be having 5 people sitting at a table smoking cigarettes right next to the door, or like doing some, like, just stopping in the middle of like a sidewalk with like 5 people and standing there and talking, or like, yeah, a lot of countries have different views on what personal space. So, like, I know, for instance, in Finland, there's actually a very comical picture I've seen of a Finnish bus stop. And literally, it's like one person every 2 meters. It's like one person, and then 6 feet behind them is another person. And then 6 feet behind them is another person. There's a line of 15 to 20 people stretching out 100 feet, and everyone looks vaguely uncomfortable. But that's their personal...
That's their spacing?
If you walk up to someone and are like, hey,
How do
what's
they
up?
have this much space to waste? Oh, so wait, are they on a line?
Finland drinks heavily.
Wait, you're saying
that's how
on
they
a
meet
line, though, right?
Yeah, in a
So-
bus stop.
So, like, if you're
So someone
this
from
far
a different
away,
culture might just stroll up
Yeah.
and like walk into the spot.
That's what I'm
between them,
saying.
right? And that's what is essentially
That's-
happening here sometimes.
Yeah.
Where, like you'll be on the bus or like waiting in line and someone's just like pressing into your back or some shit. And
Dude, if
like,
you're in New York City, everyone's just mushed.
yeah.
Everyone just smashed into each
But
other.
that's like Subway. That's different shit. Where like
That's like
there
that's
isn't.
everywhere in New York, honestly, at this point.
But like a lot of the times it's because there isn't room. Sometimes
Yeah, that's true.
here on campus it's just because
They
people
just
are
do it.
making there not be room.
Yeah.
But that's a tremendous minority of the campus. It doesn't happen
Right.
often, and I'm sure I'm an asshole in Chinese culture or any other.
Right.
You know, I don't.
So yeah, no,
I don't
but
follow
what
any
I'm
of
saying is
their
like
conventions, so.
past just like color. I'm saying just like, actually, this is general. This is a very
I
general
think the
question
diversity
in terms
of like viewpoints has changed it.
But that
more
I
than
think that's
anything for me.
generally just going to college, though. I don't think
Yeah.
that's... Well, because if you went to a college, you're saying it was like very predominantly Caucasian. Like their backgrounds probably would have been similar. To,
I mean,
or
there's a
more
lot of
similar to-
rural upstate kids like me. When I visited Binghamton, there were more kids from Long Island than here at Stony Brook. So many kids from Long Island go up to Binghamton. I don't know why.
Probably because if it's like deep in Long Island, I mean, as you keep going further into Long Island, the more conservative it gets. So I'm assuming that they would their families have a preference for the high, majority Caucasian or like the, just the background of college like Binghamton, because Binghamton's definitely less diverse.
Was it
than Stony
Nassau
Brook.
and Suffolk or just Nassau?
No,
It was
Suffolk. Suffolk.
Just
is,
Suffolk?
Yeah.
Trump County?
Yeah. Nassau County is where I'm from.
So what, like 40 out of 41 counties were Shillery?
I think, I'm not sure.
Those 40 and 41, both of them consecutively out of my ass.
Yeah.
I have no idea if those are correct or not.
I know that Nassau County isn't majority Republican, from what I know. The area I live in, at least in Nassau County, is very... Actually, now it's very, very diverse. It used to be, from what I know, in my area, mainly Italian people. But now
Hey, bibbidi-bobbidi.
a fettuccine.
Yeah.
Now it's actually mainly Asian and brown people. We're kind of just slowly taking over.
Gentrification.
Yeah, no, I guess. We're
Well,
just slowly
that just depends on who has money.
Yeah, it's because of the fact that like all the immigrants that came decades ago are now like settled, accomplished, and were smart enough to save their money, or like like my family alone. It's just like they just worked, they grinded for years.
Yeah, that's another huge cultural difference is work ethic. Like, a lot of people have gotten lazy, and there's a lot of other people who have had an entire previous generation before them bust their ass for almost their entire life just to give them this opportunity.
Yeah.
And if they fail, A, they're a tremendous fuck up, and B, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, like me,
up
that's
not only your life, but also like that
just
family.
all the work that
and all that
your
shit.
parents did. Like for me personally, like being a first generation, like born in the U.S., like it's a lot of weight to carry. It's like like everything that they've done, all of the effort that they've put in, it's literally just for their kids. Like they didn't do anything outside of working. They didn't really pick up hobbies. They didn't really have time to just fuck around.
Yeah.
I mean, like they came here and they worked, and that's about it. And it's just a big burden. It's a big burden. But yeah, like meeting people like that definitely changes your outlooks on how you see things. And I feel like being in a diverse school where you meet people from backgrounds like that, it definitely changes your opinion. Like, do you think that's true?
Yeah. I mean, I had like an interesting juxtaposition of opinions available to me in my high school, which was that Skinny Atlas was situated in a weird spot. It was in a rural area, upstate New York, so this is bumfuck to most of the listeners. But there was also money there, and it was on a really fucking nice lake, arguably the nicest of the Finger Lakes.
Definitely. I mean, I've only
some of the
been to
cleanest
one lake,
water in the world.
beautiful.
You've swam there.
It's beautiful. I floated there. I can't swim.
Yeah, you can't. You can swim through the water and drink it while you're swimming through it, as long
honestly
as
outrageous.
Imran isn't 10 feet in front of you peeing.
Yeah.
15 feet's fine, but it's beautiful up there, and so there's just there's people that live there that are farmers. They're actually feeding us, and in case you guys are all wondering, yes, this is where your food comes from, because a lot of the people I met down here, surprising to me, but not to them, never seen like a corn stalk or a cow pasture or shit like that, and don't really think about where their food comes from, which, it's not a problem, it's just interesting. But I got sidetracked. What were we talking about? Oh, upstate. So farmers. It's like a little bit less than half farmers who like drive pickup trucks to school, and, chew tobacco in school, and fucking, the occasional Confederate flag, but a lot of them are good people, They're not all racist hicks, but some hicks will be racist. And then the other half or more were like, of course everyone's pretty much white. The other half were all like rich, like very loaded. Like, your parent decided it'd be a good idea to buy you a BMW for your 16th birthday and let you drive that to school, because that will be terrific for your work ethic and teach you that you need to hustle for rewards in life.
It's like once you already have a BMW, it's like, where do you go from there?
So anything other than those two opinions or those two viewpoints, those two stereotypes, was completely new to me. So I got a bunch of new shit. Got to meet a nice white African kid who's been to pretty much every part of the world.
Yeah, that guy.
Got to meet Goko, who's more social than I thought any person could possibly be. Got to meet Imran, Mr. YouTube Worldwide, right here.
I actually have not started. I have not made my YouTube video yet, and that is just because I am scared. 1, 2, I don't know how to edit, and 3, I'm so busy with schoolwork. But I will try to get it up this weekend. I'm gonna try my best.
No.
Okay, so the last question I have, because this has been going on for a while, honestly, I like keeping these. I said on one of them that I wanted to keep it to like an hour, but no.
Over a little.
Yeah, we're at like an hour.
Well, yeah,
no, but
some editing.
No, I can't. I don't do that.
You could probably cut that really long, obscene, 3.5 minute shit that I took on your desk out. There's just a lot of like unnecessary vocals in that.
No,
I think we could.
I'll take that one.
Oh, you'll leave it in? Part. No, you'll take it out.
I'll take that one out. The poop part I'll take out.
The poo-poo.
Yeah, the poo-poo.
The poo-poo.
The last question is the effects of being in a serious relationship on like your outlook on like life.
Cause there's a lot more certainty.
Because that's a like at this age that is such a big factor in like the things that you do, and you've been in a relationship for what almost 3 years now, right? Coming up on 3 years.
Yeah.
And like you guys, almost are certain that you're the ones, and that definitely will definitely take lots of stress, I guess, off of you, but it also changes the way you do things, your day to day, the way your outlook is overall. Like, what do you think the biggest changes were?
Well, it's good that I want to say we complement each other, but I don't know what I have to offer. I'm really good at a task if it is set in front of me and clearly defined, ideally with maybe instructions or just outlines. Guidelines are nice, deciding which task I'm going to do and which one happens after that and what is the time frame that is going to occur within. It's never been much of my domain. But Jordan's very good at that. So she provides a lot of organization, and then I just pretend like she's there nagging me. But it helps tremendously. She's nice. I like her face. She's very good at cooking. It sucks because I have to clean. So
yeah, but you got food. So.
Kind of makes me the bitch. I gotta do the dishes. But, cooking and cleaning. What is this, the 1850s? So, it's pretty even division of labor. You go communist in the kitchen. But it's great. It's definitely changed my life. I don't know. I really tried to be a bachelor for a while.
No, I remember that. I mean, all of
everyone remembers, yeah.
All of freshman year, like you. I mean, me and you both.
The first half.
Well, no, so when I was a freshman, I was still in a relationship at that time, which honestly I kind of regret. I don't regret. I don't like saying that I regret things, but like I was I
like manipulated you into leaving that though. So
no, not really. It was
the influence. I was like, you should fucking do it because you're gonna get with mad bitches in Florida, and then you could have, but you unfortunately, and none of us had any balls, but you didn't really have the balls to
No, I mean I was a freshman at the time.
I know, but knowing that we were going to leave, you struck up a conversation out of nowhere and got the number of the hottest chick that I've seen down in Florida. Literally because, not explicitly because I told him this, but just because he knew that
I would never see
18 to 24 hours, we will be almost half of a continent away. You could fuck up so horribly.
It doesn't matter.
Will take pictures of it and
I still talk to her sometimes too now.
That building, yeah. She had a boyfriend too, that's how it works.
I think she had a boyfriend at the time. They dated for 2 years.
But it was like
now she's with
the ACT. Once
now.
I knew that it didn't matter, then I did much better.
Yeah, I mean that's
once you knew the pressure was off, you were like, "Damn girl, you shit with that ass."
But no. So freshman year, I was in a relationship with someone else, and I remember always talking to you getting with girls, and you were always worried, you were kind of anxious about I need to go, I need to go out, I need to find someone, I need to do this, that stress is definitely lifted upon from you, that definitely changed.
I was trying so hard to get laid for the first little while.
Oh yeah,
that's why I spent
college.
Most of high school, especially senior year, trying to do desperately, which led me into a retarded relationship. Not going to touch on that. I could fill a whole podcast with those dysfunctions, and
yeah, we'll do that on the next one.
Probably mention too many names, so we'll get nice and drunk for that.
So your relationship started the second semester of college, right? So what do you think the biggest changes were after? I mean, you started dating this person.
Went out a lot less, but that was all of us. We all started going out less, and then pretty much all at once. We never really went out junior year.
We didn't. We just kind of hung out with
once or twice a semester, if at all. And this year we've been out once because we really only go out at this point if someone badgers us into it and also has
Basically.
an explicit invitation and a ride available, and like also probably a ride back.
I mean,
or
once
some
you get into your latter
you know,
years of college,
being
you have so
single
much
is
to
expensive.
do. Yeah,
Being in a relationship
it is.
also expensive. Because I had $100 dinner tonight, which was delicious.
Yeah, but I
to
mean,
be fair, it was like got a whole pizza on it.
You got a whole pizza and a 1.5 liter thing of wine.
Going to be eating that pizza for the next 2 days or so.
Mm-hmm.
So that's great. I've been there 3 times consecutively and ordered like 6 months apart each time. And I'm like, so could I get a barbecue chicken pizza? And every time they're astounded. They just, they're not used to it. I don't know. I think it's just because if someone was going to order an entire pizza, why the fuck would they eat in? And more importantly, they assume I'm just going to eat the entire pizza.
While you're there.
Yeah. But these are huge fucking pizzas. But, going out to, like, bars or any sort of frat party, 5 for girls, 10 for guys, or free for girls, 5 for guys.
Once you get older,
always more expensive.
You don't want to do that anymore.
And just money. Because, women are the attraction, so men pay money just to get there, which ramps us up nicely to, the whole buying them drink shit.
Right.
And then we date them and we buy them rings and presents and dinner and shit.
I mean...
We do it all for the nookie. If you really like a bitch, you buy her like a big old stone. Maybe some gold on that shit. And then you say, hey, I bet you half my shit we can go the rest of our life without fucking anyone else.
I mean, no, unless later down the line you're like...
Oh, yeah, like, prenup as fuck, but...
No, not that, no.
Cuidado.
Like, later down the line, I mean, like, I feel like it's more common nowadays to be in an open relationship or explore and do things.
Yeah, that's some millennial bullshit right there.
That is some millennial bullshit.
I mean, I would say if I was going to be in an open relationship with someone that I was married to, I would want all of their other sexual partners to be of different races. So, like, if the baby comes out and it's like half Asian, like, I'm pretty sure that's not. Do you have like a little bit of Chinese in you, or no? Would you like to? Hey, no, I'm just kidding. But it's like a litmus test for babies. But no, would not enjoy an open relationship. I think a lot of people enjoy the idea of an open relationship. They're like, oh my god, like that girl whose butt I keep looking at the gym every day. I could actually like go for it now, because men think with their dicks. At no point do they stop and think like, I wonder if there's like a realistic chance that she'd be like, oh my god, thank you for interrupting my workout and making me take my headphones out. You seem interesting. I'm gonna let you buy me stuff and then I'm gonna do stuff for you. But yeah. And then also, flip side of that, because men are horny, like the second a relationship gets opened up, and it's especially tragic, not tragic, stupid, if the guy does it, the girl can get as much dick as she fucking wants. She can just walk into like a bar, a party, a park, just be like,
the park,
hey, who wants some pussy?
And
boom.
It just worked. Like, yeah, that's
as many people as are there that are, above 18 and not senile. Mm-hmm. We'll just go for it.
It's good. Yeah, basically.
She's ugly, put a bag over her head, but like it's bad pussy's like bad pizza. It's still pizza. Just use protection, I guess. I don't know.
So I mean, now you don't have to. I mean, from when you started dating, like you don't have to go for it. Do you think I gave you more free time? Do you think that like helped you?
No, I hang out with Jordan a tremendous amount of time. She likes hanging out with me a lot, and I like hanging out with her a lot. And we spend like 18 hours a day together, give or take. The only real issue is when it comes to sleeping, because these beds are twin long, and my shoulders are twin. So, we've talked about this before, but in order to sleep in the same bed, we either have to spoon one way or the other way with me, like jetpacking her. Well, it's not spooning. From the big spoon. So she's just like, it's like I'm wearing a jetpack,
That's
but most of the time I just lay on the back, or lay straight on my back because, it's better for my back because my back's all dick.
Mm-hmm.
Not too much of my fucking acid reflux when I wake up in the middle of the night because my esophagus is burning. Ugh, more burps. But yeah, I usually just end up having to lay on my back with both of my arms straight up, like I'm a ref signaling a touchdown.
Hey.
And my legs down in a pencil dive.
It's good.
Because, if I just have my arms by my side, I'm too thick for
two
both
C's,
of us
two
to
C's.
fit. Yeah.
This is like the third time I've said 2 C's on this podcast for thick. It's a very recurring theme.
ACC.
Okay, so before I end it, because it's been a long time, and I just want to get this last little bit in, is at the end of it, I like talking to the people about their future endeavors, kind of like what they want to do, and what their outlook is for the next couple of years. Because everyone that's on this is young and still trying to figure stuff out. So I was wondering for you, was it just med school, or is it do you know more than that, or do you think you're just gonna figure it out as you go?
I'm doing give or take fuck all for academia for the next year. So it'd be nice to lose some weight, or at least have more fun. And then I'm gonna go to med school. Gonna have to stop all the illicit shit. Gonna focus very hard on my studies. I think with some diligence and a lot better study habits. I know that I have the perseverance to be the valedictorian of my medical school class.
Is that your goal?
I'm gonna fucking graduate at or very near to the top. Get a very good residential placement in either something very high paying or something very high paying that's also plastic surgery or some shit. So if I fuck up, I won't kill anyone. And then I'm gonna put in my time and caffeinate very, very heavily. Because I'm going to have to work, occasional to very often 18 to 24-hour shifts.
Yeah.
And just, work 6 or 7 days a week. But, I'm going to hope very strongly that I don't get replaced by robots by that time. Because otherwise there's a lot of knowledge.
That's an entire other discussion.
I know, but, yeah.
Yeah, that's...
get Elon up in here. And then I'm going to get some money. I'm going to buy my dad a Dodge Challenger because it's the car he always wanted to have. But he ended up with a BMW because my mom. I'm going to lend a bunch of money to my friend from home who was always sort of poor but is a really good kid. And I think that if he's still living in the same town working as a pizza delivery driver, I would like to lend him a lot of money and help him start up a nice small to medium-sized business locally. Yeah. I'd fund him going to college first. I'm going to buy myself a really nice, shitty old car. Just very terrible. Reliably gets me from A to B. Maybe like a Subaru, but just as rusty as possible. I love junkers. And it'll be great. Nice juxtaposition as I pull in between the Jaguar and the Bugatti Veyron and my rusted out 1998 Dodge Grand Caravan.
Big dreams.
Yeah, and I'm gonna get a shit ton of money from being a doctor, saving lives or boobies or something.
Being Mr. Doctor.
And then I'm gonna buy a bunch of shitty properties in nice parts of the world. I'm gonna have a house in Colorado and a little bungalow in Florida, because that's a white people rite of passage. Growing old and moving to Florida. I'm gonna have a nice little house in Hawaii.
Oh my God, there's so many things. Okay, so you're
New
gonna...
Zealand is a must.
Okay, so alright, sum it up.
I've heard Chernobyl is nice this time of year.
Sum it up. Doctor, med school, money, live the life.
Yeah, or if I fuck up at any point in the next 8 years, I'm just gonna be one impressive dropout. So...
Hey, you never know.
Look out for me.
And on that note...
Yeah.
We're done. Peace.